All right, and welcome back to Metal Messiah Radio. And we are very honored and proud to have with you today Bill Hudson from NorthTale.
How's it
Welcome.
going, everyone?
Oh, and so today is the big day that Welcome to Paradise is being released in the United States and across the world. How do you feel about that?
Very good. You guys are actually the first interview I'm doing. So
Um,
ever since the album was released, I mean.
Correct.
And it's exciting. I keep looking at Spotify to see the numbers, and I keep like, wait, is it going too fast? It's pretty cool.
Well, first of all, give us a little background. Tell us about NorthTale. Where'd you all come from? A little bit about your previous projects, because for all intents and purposes, you are kind of a super group, right? I know you don't like the label, but
Well, I mean, it's not really that we don't like it. We just don't think it's true because it's not. Like Avantasia is a super group. Like we're just like a bunch of dudes that were in other bands before. And in my case, I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I've had a pretty good career, particularly the past 5 years or so.
right.
But Northale really is what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. Everything else that I've done in my career was because I couldn't do Northale. I mean, I'm not saying specifically Northale because I didn't have the name,
Right.
but this band with these almost like I almost had kind of a cartoonish almost idea of how I wanted my band to look, what kind of people I wanted in the band, what I wanted the songs to be about, and how I wanted them to sound. Those were all things that were always with me since I was a kid, but I had just come to terms with the fact that it wasn't going to work because, I think everybody can agree that right now power metal is way on the rise.
Oh yeah.
There's some great bands, and the labels are betting on bands. Like I, if 5 years ago a power metal band tried to approach any label,
Yeah, they would have said, "Oh hell no." Yeah.
yeah. Whereas right now, that is what the labels are looking for.
Right.
And in my opinion, I actually, I'm in Brazil hanging with my mom, and I talked to her yesterday about this. I'm like, I'm now writing the music that I wanted to write when I was 14, but it's 20 years later.
Right.
So literally, I waited for the trend to go away and come back.
Right.
To finally do what I really wanted to. I mean, I've, as we were talking to Toby, the latest or the last band that I played that was bigger was Udo,
Mm-hmm.
and I played over 150 shows worldwide with him. It was great. It was a great experience. I still play with Doro.
She's
and
amazing.
I play with I played with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I still work with them, behind the scenes. I've done all these things, but at the end of the day, it's the same as playing cover songs.
Right. They're not your
Yeah,
songs. You didn't write them.
yeah, I didn't write them. I don't get to, and I don't even get to perform really the way I want most of the time. I mean, in I Am Morbid, I do. I Am Morbid is a little bit different because even though it's cover songs, I am a founding member, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So I get a little bit more freedom. But outside of that, I always was told what to do, what to play, how to play. And, sometimes it worked out great. Sometimes it was a problem. But I was always wondering, like, I mean, why can't I do this on my own? Like there's a lot of these people are not as smart as I am, and they're playing these songs in these shows, these big shows. I need to do something on my own. So my first idea, when I started really getting sick of doing this, I was like, I'm gonna do an instrumental album because I saw the instrumental thing happening a little bit for some of my friends. Nita Strauss,
Oh,
Angel
sure.
Vivaldi. So all these are people that are doing pretty good with the instrumental shit. But there's also a side effect to that, which is a million people trying to be like them and being terrible at it. When I started writing my instrumental album, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this scene. And the idea the first idea was to have an instrumental album that had nine instrumental songs or whatever, and then perhaps two with vocals. And the two vocal songs I had, it was the two first songs I wrote were "Shape Your Reality" and "If Angels Are Real." And I was looking for a singer to do it. Actually, I knew who I wanted to do it. I wanted Christian Erickson to do it, but he was in Twilight Force at the time and pretty busy. They were touring with Sabaton. They were doing some big things.
Oh yeah, that was
And
huge.
yeah, that was. I mean, they did a tour with Sabaton and Accept about a year ago, and that's what he was doing when I first contacted him. And he liked it. He was like, I like the music. It's cool, but right now I'm gonna pass because I'm busy with my band. And I was like, okay, well, story of my life.
Shot down, god damn it.
It's true, man. It's true. I mean, I've had issues with singers since the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
In the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I actually got to work with the best singers in the world. Jeff Scott Soto, Russell Allen,
Oh yeah.
Zach Stevens, Dino Yalusik. All these guys are amazing, amazing singers. But I mean, they are their own thing. I'm not gonna get to them and be like, hey, let's start a band.
Yeah, stop what you're doing, man. I need a singer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what? Oddly enough, I did talk to Russ about singing on my album,
Right.
And when it was going to be an instrumental album. But that was right around the time the Adrenaline Mob thing happened, and I just, we lost David Z, and I just didn't want to, it bother him
Sure.
about this again, and I never did. So anyway, I had this idea of getting Christian to sing for my songs, and when he became available, when he left Twilight Force, the first thing I did was I contacted him. And I was like, dude, I really, really think that we should start a band. So whenever you're ready, let me know. And he actually did not respond at all. I was like, okay, whatever.
He totally blew you off at first, right?
Yeah, that's really what happened. He didn't respond. And well, I know now why, because he was done with music. He didn't want to play anymore. He once the whole thing happened with Twilight Force, he's like, I'm done with this bullshit.
Well, yeah, you probably get burnout after a while too. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I did, after I tried my first couple bands, the Celadors and the whatever,
yeah,
and stuff like that didn't happen. I'm like, I'm done. But instead of saying I'm done with music, I'm like, I'm just gonna be a hired gun because I don't really know how to do anything else, So I'm like, I have to play guitar for a living.
Sure.
I'll just play covers, whatever. But instead of playing covers at a bar, I'll go worldwide play covers. but when Christian became available, he brought in Patrick. That was a big thing too, because as a big Yngwie Malmsteen fan, I knew of his work, and not only that, we had already jammed at NAMM like a couple of times,
Yeah.
And we always said, hey, we should start a band sometime, and we say that to a lot of people.
Sure.
So when Christian came in with Patrick, I'm like, okay, well, how about the three of us start a band? And while we're at it, let's just find the other guys, And he brought in our bass player Michael, who, even though he's very, very Swedish, they met here in America at Musicians Institute as students back 10 years ago or something.
Right.
And I brought in Jimmy Pitts, who had worked with me and Vitaly Kopri, which is a piano player for the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and we did this show. And Jimmy was sort of his second keyboard player guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this could work, So from that moment on, the solo record thing was out the window.
You're like, well, now I have a band. It's not Bill Hudson anymore.
Exactly. I'm like, well, the truth is, the band is what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And I wanted a singer like Christian. Like, I've been looking for that guy my entire career.
Right.
And I was, so the first thing that we did is we took those two songs, we became a band, and we started writing songs as a band from that moment on. So most of the songs on the record are a partnership between myself and Christian. Some of them very few of them have the names of the other guys, but that's just because they came in later in the game. You know, we for the next album we're planning on working together a lot more.
Well, then I was
And that's basically it. You know, we started sending demos back and forth, sending ideas, you know, via WhatsApp or whatever. Hey, you know, check out this vocal melody. What do you think? Oh, here's this guitar riff. Try that. You know, it was an easy process. It was actually rather quick if you think about it. You know, we started the band maybe a year and a half ago, and and it was quick, but a lot of the things were a pain in the ass. Like, you know, you send someone a part and then you want to change one note out of it. That could take like 3 days. You know?
Oh,
So it was a little bit of a pain in the ass in that aspect. But you know, here we are. I mean, it really, even though it feels like it took a long time, now that it's done and the album is out, I'm like, wow, already.
See, and to you, it might feel like already, but to people like me, it feels like it's been an eternity. Because, I mean,
Oh,
because the single came out, you know, months ago, and now it's like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, I contacted you, you know, like what, in the spring and said, hey, are you guys, you know, going to be doing interviews? And you're like, oh yeah, absolutely. But I feel like I've been waiting months to talk to you about waiting for the album to come out. But for
yeah.
you, you're like, oh, already?
Well, I'm glad that we're talking now and not when we're just, because that was the thing too. You know, for the longest time, people are like, okay, guys, any day now. You
Well,
know?
that's the way we feel, but we're fans. I mean, it's different coming from your viewpoint. You're on the other side of it. You're like, oh, already? And we're like, no, come on, finally.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we, it was weird because we put out the very first single, a demo version of Shape Your Reality about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I don't know if it's quite that long.
It feels like
But
it.
yeah, the reason we did that was because of the pressure. You know, we were getting messages almost every day and people asking us every day about it. And the truth of the matter is that the song was not ready to release when we put it out. You know, I mean, you can listen to how different it is in the album, you know.
True.
So it wasn't ready. It was a demo thing, like an EP. You know, we were gonna put it out like that, but it was gonna be an EP.
Okay.
So we had no intentions of making it an album until we finally got picked up by Nuclear Blast, which it kind of came out of nowhere. You know, I mean, it didn't completely come out of nowhere, but it kind of did.
Right.
We weren't planning on having a label, really. We were planning on being independent, which now I realize how stupid of an idea that would have been.
Why? Why do you think so? Just because it just takes time to market and promote yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, we've done about 50 interviews. We're on every magazine in the world.
Right.
Sometimes I feel that getting even one of those magazines without a label has been very hard.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I mean, the work they're doing is just incredible. You know, we basically communicate every day and we talk about where the band is going, what we're gonna do, and all that. And I say, well, this would be cool, and then they make it happen.
Yeah, Nuclear Blast is pretty fantastic. They're, I mean, as far as communication and everything, and they've been good to us, and we're small potatoes, and they've just been really awesome to us. They give us singles all the time, and they're just really good people.
Yeah, they are. They are. You know, they are. Well, you know, I can say this now, but one of the reasons that we wanted to just be independent was because we didn't think we could get in a big label. You know, we're like, why would they bet on a band that hasn't done shit? You know?
Because, well, but look at who, I know you're humble and all, but look at who you are. I mean, all of you guys have credibility based on what you've done, whether you think you're not good or not. But to put you all together, like I said, you guys don't consider yourself a supergroup. We all do. As fans, we like collectively all of the projects that you guys have done in the genre. So we look at it as, holy shit, you guys are all together doing this. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but you know what? There's a lot of projects like that I had a lot of high expectations that you didn't deliver.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true too. But there's also a lot of underground projects of people who are really no names who are coming out with some amazing stuff too. Like you said, the genre right now is exploding.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But I think this is the best moment for the genre in history.
I agree.
I agree.
As a lifelong fan of power metal, I totally agree with you.
Even because I mean we're and I'm very vocal about this. We're trying to kind of recreate the feeling and the sound of the late '90s power metal. But the truth is, in the late '90s, the internet wasn't nearly as big as it is now.
No.
So sometimes I think back when Stradivarius was playing for 5,000 people, how big would they have been if the internet was around?
Right.
True.
So I kind of think that this is happening right now, and we happen to be at the forefront of it for some freak luck because we didn't know it. We're like, let's just do this album that we like, and then it comes out on the very same month that Sabaton is like the biggest band on the planet.
Sure.
So it worked out great, but I mean, none of that was really planned.
Well, twist of fate, maybe, I guess, but
Yeah.